Here's your host, Bill Lasky.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky as the Giants roll to a win as they come home to a 9-game homestand, beating the Washington Nationals today 5-0 on Orange Friday. And boy, it was an exciting game. After the Giants came off a nice road trip where they took 2 series win, they beat the New York Mets 2 out of 3. Then they went into Pittsburgh and took 2 out of 3, coming off with a 4-2 record. But they came home with an 8-game losing streak. 8 games. You remember the last homestand, they lost 6. And before the All-Star game, they had lost 2 to the Dodgers. So they had to erase that. And they erased it very well today. It didn't take them long. Matt Gage started the game as an opener. It had a 1-2-3 inning. And Rafael Devers came up with a 2-1 fastball right down the middle. And he launched it 427 feet for his 21st home run. Oh, he did launch it. 427. 105.7 exit velocity off the bat, and the Giants jumped up to a 1-0 lead, and they added on. Adames with a base hit, Smith with a base hit, and Matt Chapman drives him one in, and it was up 2-0. 2-0. You figure that was a lot of runs right then. So the bullpen had to put this together. They had to do it. As Landon Roop is gearing up, he's going to get a start in Sacramento on Sunday. Eric Miller's in Sacramento tonight throwing an inning, so a couple more arms coming back. And after Matt Gage, Kai Wei Tang. Boy, what an outing he did. And in New York, he had a struggle. Hit a guy, walked a guy, gave up a home run. He was behind the 8 ball, but he still got out of it. Today he was sensational. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Gets out of a jam, bases loaded, nobody out. Gets a ground ball to Devers. He throws home, gets a double play, 6-4-3, walks off the mound with a 0 on the board. And this is exactly what he did in Sacramento the entire year down there. And when you look at what he threw today, you're talking about everything. 64 pitches, 42 for strikes, a sweeper for 15 pitches, a changeup for 15 pitches, a sinker for 14 pitches, a curveball and a fastball, 10 each. So he mixed up his pitches, a nice 5-pitch array that he threw out there, and Patrick Bailey used everything. Had a nice couple innings after he got out of that, went 5 innings, and of course 6 innings was total after that, and Lucchesi, Budo, and Beck ended up putting 3 more zeros on the board. And the bullpen puts it together. The 6th shutout for the San Francisco Giants pitching staff this year, and they end up winning 5-0 on Orange Friday. Well, earlier today, Gerard Encarnacion goes on the IL after he hits a couple bombs in Pittsburgh with another grade 2 hamstring injury, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. And what do? They bring up Brad Gilbert. And what a story this is. Drew Gilbert. And what a story this is. And how I can say this to you is with my extra inning post-game shows on the weekend, I reached out to Drew Gilbert. And I got an interview with him Thursday afternoon, he got called up. So tomorrow after the game on Extra Inning Post-Game Show, you're going to hear a good 15 to 20-minute interview with Drew Gilbert. And what an excellent kid this is. You're going to love him. He's a gamer, total gamer. He was a pitcher in high school. He was dominant. He thought he was going to get drafted as a pitcher, but he still hit 400. When he went to Tennessee, he clobbered the ball. His junior year, just numbers really impressive. 362, 11 home runs, 70 RBIs, 72 hits, 21 doubles. Very, very confident young man. Very confident. Played center field most of the time, played the corners, but today you could see the skill that he has in right field. The diving catch when he came in to catch that ball, and a couple balls that were deep. Played the wall very well on the 1 double. Went up halfway, bounced it in, got the ball in. And I loved his 3-0 swagger when he tried to swing right through it, the 3-0 pitch, kind of a little smile on him. He'll be fine. He's a damn good player, and what a trade the San Francisco Giants did for him for Tyler Rogers. He was the number 1 pick for the Houston Astros, a really impressive 28th overall pick, and then he gets traded to the New York Mets for Justin Verlander. And what do you know? He's meeting Justin Verlander today. And then, of course, in July, he got traded to San Francisco Giants in a 3-person trade for Tyler Rogers. And now he's a big leaguer. So you'll be able to hear that interview tomorrow. It's really a fun interview I had with him, and just enjoying to get to meet him. And then all of a sudden, later in the afternoon, he gets called up to the big leagues. Great story. All right, I'm Bill Lasky. Let's get to the phone lines. Let's take a quick break, come back with more. We'll talk about Giants baseball, a 9-game homestand as they win the first game 5-0 against Washington. We'll be right back on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Here's the pitch. Swing. There's a high drive. Deep right center field. Way back there. Still going. Adios! Pelota! Over the wall. Over the visiting bullpen. And out there into the Jung-Hoo Lee 4-1-5 area. And the Giants have a 1-0 lead. What a shot that was.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky on a Friday night. 2 home run balls today. You just heard John Miller talk about Rafael Devers' 21st home run in the first inning. And then Casey Schmidt got into it with his 7th home run. And he hit a first pitch curveball, a 77-mile-an-hour curveball, 375 feet to left field. It opened up the game. Of course, a ball that Jung-Hoo Lee hit down the first base line. I thought it could have been a double, but they gave him an error, went under his glove, and preceded Casey Schmidt hitting a 2-run home run following that up. And a great play by Jung-Hoo Lee in the 8th inning. A heads-up play coming around second on just a dribbler down the line by Patrick Bailey. Catcher overthrew first that he stretched up, and nobody was covering home. And that's the kind of base running we love to see right there. Jung-Hoo Lee stealing the 5th run. The Giants shut out the Washington Nationals 5-0. Now the Giants are 59-57, and the Nationals now are 45-70 with 2 more games left. Both games are 105 starts right here on KNBR. Carson Wisenhunt 1-0 with a 4.3 going against Brad Lord 2-6 with a 3.4. Brad Lord, a right-hander, mostly out of the bullpen, 38 games. He's had 9 starts. Last couple starts through against the Brewers, 4 2/3, gave up 3 earned runs, and he shut out Houston until the Astros finally got a run off him. He went 5 1/3, only giving up 1 hit, a home run. Pitched well in that one. So, and then Carson Wisenhunt, of course, his first game here when the Giants had lost that whole homestand. His first outing, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. Then he backed it up in New York and really threw a good game against the New York Mets, going 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run. So we'll see what he pops back out there tomorrow at 105. Sunday, Justin Verlander back out there. He's 1-8 with a 4.2 against Mackenzie Gore, 4-12 with a 4.2. The left-hander's pretty good, though. You can't look at those numbers. 126 innings pitched, 148 strikeouts. But you look at Verlander, 2 good outings back-to-back, both against the Pirates, going 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs his last outing. 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run the inning the time before. So a couple good outings by Verlander. He's really throwing the ball well, getting it up to about 98 miles an hour. 1 pitch his last outing. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We also have Dave Tobiner coming on later on tonight. Of course, he writes on the sports page for the SF Gate. Love talking to Dave, and we'll get his analysis of the game later in the show. All right, let's go to Dennis in San Jose. Dennis, you're on a Friday night sports phone. How are you this evening?
Yeah, Bill, I'm doing fine. I got to tell you, first, I think we got a first baseman now. He's real good. He's playing first base fantastically. I'd like to see him hit 30 home runs this year. And then we played good ball today. We pitched real good. And the thing is, we got to take the next 2 games before we play San Diego. If we do that, that'd be good.
I agree with you right there, Dennis. I think this would
question. What happened to Fitzgerald? Is he hurt or what?
Fitzgerald's in AAA. Why can't you stop talking and let me talk a little bit, Dennis? You just keep rolling, man. You want to know something, let me talk a little bit, okay? So your first question was, yes, the Washington Nationals are in town. We should sweep the Nationals. You're absolutely right about winning 3 games in a row before the Padres come into town. Padres got beat by the Red Sox. Tyler Fitzgerald's in AAA. He is playing regularly at second base, doing pretty well, hitting about 300. And now you got, a young man, Drew Gilbert, coming up. What did you think about him today, Dennis?
I think he plays the outfield very good for himself. I like to see him get some hits. If he plays tomorrow, I like to see him get a hit tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we got a right-hander tomorrow, so he'll be back in the lineup, a lefty on Sunday. Of course, he faced a lefty his last 2 at-bats. We'll see what he can do. He's a gamer. If he played in Tennessee, had a great career out of Tennessee, and bounced around on a couple trades. But when you bounce around, somebody wants you a little bit more, Dennis. So we'll find out. That's what he's up here for. And the more you get to watch him play, maybe he is that guy the Giants need in the outfield.
Yeah.
You good?
That's good.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Let's go to John in South City. John, you're on Sports Phone KNBR this evening on a Friday. Giants win 5-0. What did you see out of tonight's game?
Bill, first of all, how are you? It's a great win that the Giants win on a Friday night on Orange Friday, first of all.
I'm glad they got that 8-game home losing streak away. That kind of bothered me. You can't come to Oracle Park and lose that many games. I haven't seen the Giants do that ever.
You know, Bill, I kind of agree with that. You know, they got rid of that 8-game losing streak. And how about tonight? Drew Gilbert making a play on your debut on that diving catch. What amazing
cool.
catch, Bill. That was pretty cool.
It was.
Like,
you know, he's a good
go
outfielder.
ahead.
You know, he played in Tennessee, and you know, Houston Astros picked him up as a #1 pick, so there was a lot of good in him. I don't know if you heard my open. I had an interview with him Thursday morning for my extra inning postgame show. You'll hear that tomorrow after the game. Just a young, stellar kid, a baseball player. And the 15, 18 minutes I talked to him were very impressive as a young man.
Absolutely, Bill. Hey, Bill, I want to give credit to Kaiwei Tang tonight, who pitched very well today. You know, last Saturday wasn't his best start, but he kept the ball down low today.
He did.
You know, with the bases loaded, you know, they got out, you know, he got out a couple innings. You know, that was huge tonight, Bill. That was really huge for Kaiwei
bases
Tang.
loaded, nobody out. Bases loaded, nobody out, and he walked off of it with a nice double play to end it. You know, I thought Devers played that ball real well. That ball was hit pretty hard. Made a nice throw to Bailey to try to get the 3-2 back to him for a double play. That didn't work. But then later in the game, Devers made a nice play when the ball was hit to him where he touched first base. And then he ended up throwing up to Adames at second and getting Josh Bell out. I thought Devers played well today at first.
I thought Devers did play well, and also I want to give credit to Don Smith, who's hitting the ball pretty well, Bill. I mean,
yeah,
man, what a story! How about Don Smith this year? You know,
13-game hitting
he's
streak.
coming up. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty awesome.
Hits.
And
I thought that was really clutch on that road trip, that Pittsburgh series where he got a
yes,
base
it
hit,
was.
of course, in the Mets series. You know, he doesn't take a big swing, more of a contact hitter, drives the ball, hit that home run at Coors Field, but he puts the ball in play, and I like that out of him.
Absolutely. Bill, I know we got a series coming up against Washington. Your goal is for this week. You can't take 2 out of 3. You got to go 3 for free this coming week. You can't.
I agree.
And you got a big series. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself, but you got the Padres coming in town on Monday. You can't take the Padres lightly. If you want to be in the race in that wild card, you got to start winning games. They got to start winning games, Bill.
After Nationals, just to tell you, looking at the schedule, they have the Padres 7 out of the next 10 games. They play 3 at home, then they play 3 at Tampa, then they go to San Diego and play 4. So this is the time to get the offense rolling, and it's good to see Landon Roop throwing Sunday in Sacramento. It's good to see Eric Miller getting an inning in with the River Cats to kind of get Roop back in this rotation. They need one more arm in this rotation, and he would be great to come in, throw 4 or 5 innings like he did, and hopefully that elbow's, the swelling's down, he's feeling better.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know we're missing Landon Roop, and you know, he's been really big with us this year so far. And I really like Roop, and I really like Miller as well.
But you're right about Kaiwei Tang, just to jump back in there. He threw a lot of off-speed pitches. I threw the numbers out, 64 pitches. Everything was 15, 15, 14, 12. He threw everything, and when you got confidence in throwing 5 different pitches with Patrick Bailey putting those numbers down, he looked really good. And what Bob Melvin said and J.P. Martinez said, the reason why we wanted to go to Matt Gage to get him off of that first inning. I think they see him more of a long reliever, middle guy. His first major league win, I just saw a picture posted where he's got the scorecard and the ball, and that's forever for him to get his first major league win.
Exactly. And Bill, do you think this team can be scary now? They could catch up on other teams during the wild card standings for the playoffs?
I still think it's too early to judge that because, like I said, the Padres for 7 games, you're going to learn a lot about them right there because the Padres are in front of them, and if they can come in 7 games, and I'm throwing a number out there, win 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7, that would be ideal. But if you opposite that and you lose 4 or 5, I think that's going to be a big hole to try to catch up. You still have Milwaukee after that. You got the Cubs and Baltimore. You still have a tough schedule the month of August. It's these little games here. You said it. Beat the Nationals 3 straight. Take one at a time. Beat them. Get some good offense and get a flow going in that clubhouse is what they need.
Absolutely, Bill. And tomorrow's game, hopefully Carson Rizzo does his. Hopefully he pitched well like he did against the Mets last Sunday, and hopefully he has a good outing again.
That's all
tomorrow.
We can do, John. Get another W tomorrow and talk about it tomorrow on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. But thanks for the call, John. Good talking to you. Let's go to Daniel. He's in Sacramento. Daniel, you're on a Friday sports phone with Bill Lasky. A good start on a 9-game homestand. What'd you think?
Lasky, what fun that game was. What a fun game. That
home run by Devers kind of opened it up, didn't it? Kind of wake-up call.
Yeah. He found his feet. July was such a bad month. That slide. But this game really had that atmosphere and vibe of early June when they were just winning and winning and winning.
Yeah.
But, wow, Gilbert, what a player, man.
He's a gamer.
Right field. He had that
little dude too.
Base
little dude. He's a scrapper. He's a scrapper. No question about that,
yeah.
Dan. You can just see scrapper. And I loved when he swung at that 3-0 pitch. I wish he would have nailed it.
I wish too. And, I think he's a future Hall of Famer. He really has that. He really has a good presence, especially out in that right field. That unbalanced face plant. He caught that ball, didn't lose it, hit his face on the dirt. He still caught the ball. He has a beautiful swing. He's a black hole in defense. He really can. Man, how many balls went out there today?
Well, the last inning, he got all 3 of them. I loved how he played the ball off the wall. At first, Kruk and Kuiper saying maybe he could have had it, and then he retracted because the ball was halfway up the wall, and he played it really well. I thought that for never playing Oracle Park, one of the hardest right fields to play, he played that perfectly off the wall, got it in, threw it right to Adames, didn't miss his cutoff man. That's what I look at from a young outfielder. Hit your cutoff man, get the ball in, and let the infielders take it from there.
It's clear he must have grown up watching baseball. Just how many games he must have watched, at Oracle Park.
Well, Daniel, I don't know if you heard, I interviewed him yesterday. I interviewed him on Thursday morning as an interview for my show on weekend. And I talked to him 15, 18 minutes. We did not know at that time he was getting called up. At that time, he was saying, all I want is a chance to go to the big leagues. And we reviewed all his things when he grew up in Minnesota, how he pitched and played outfield. And then he went to Tennessee. 2020 was a COVID year. He had to take the year off. Then his sophomore year, got his feet on the ground. His junior year, he just killed the ball. And then he went to Houston, and he got traded in New York, and then he got traded to San Francisco. And I asked him, here's a young career that's literally not even 3-4 years in the minor leagues, and he's been traded 3 times. And you know what he said? I don't care if I get traded 10 times. I just want to be a big leaguer. And with that kind of attitude, that kind of spirit, I was just like, this kid's got it. This kid's got something. And he really did. Very good questions, good answers by him. And that's going to be on tomorrow on the postgame show if you want to listen to it.
Yeah, it definitely will. Speaking of our offense, Lee is turning out to be quite the clutch hitter. He's
starting to hit the ball. He's starting to hit the ball all the play. We talked about this so much in June when he was trying to pull everything. Now he's going the opposite way and hitting down a left field line. I just want to say one thing. One game in this last homestand, he said that the interpreter talked to Dusty Baker. And Dusty Baker, I guarantee Dusty Baker told him, you need to use the whole field. You're not a home run hitter. And he started getting hot. And he got hot. And he got hot in New York. He got hot in Pittsburgh. And today hit the ball real well. I thought that ball should have been a double down the line. They gave the first baseman an error. Home field, I ought to give him a double.
Right. And Tang, man, he is a great pitcher. I don't know if I believe the stats. It gave him a 5.4 ERA. Is that real?
Well, because of his first outing. His first outing, he did not pitch well in New York, and that's where the earned runs came.
But this game,
he went
really
3
well.
1/3, 4. He went 3 1/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, and Matt Gage came in, gave up a couple hits that ended up giving him the 5 earned runs. So you go 3 1/3 with 5 earned, and then 5. So you're really going 8 1/3 and giving up, 5 runs. So it's a little difficult. But today he dominated. Today I really liked how he performed.
It was a fun watching him pitch. He just psyched out those hitters. He had them swinging at the worst balls. I mean, he has quite the mentality.
It was a good game.
I
mean, when you look at it, you had 5 pitchers pitch, right? You had 5 pitchers pitch. They shut them out. Even though Washington Nationals have been losing, they're 1-7 coming in here, I do believe, or 3-6 or something. They still dominated the game, and that's what you want to see out of the bullpen in kind of a opener type game because, of course, Matt Gage only going the first inning, and then Kaiwei Tang going 5. So I thought the bullpen pitched well, a lot of different arms. We saw Jose Budo first time at Oracle Park. He's really good. I'm very impressed in what they got out of him.
I'm glad we got to see him pitching tonight. I was really looking forward to it.
Yep.
Well,
thanks for the call, Daniel. I appreciate your call. And call over the weekend. I'll be on all weekend. Thanks you. Let's go to Jonathan. Jonathan, you're leaving Oracle Park. 38,000 at the game tonight. Was it pretty loud?
Oh, nice and loud. It's just
That's how we like
amazing night. Great to see a win at home for a change. And to my luck, it didn't come against the Marlins. I got that sweep, and now they're back on track. Marlins won tonight. Just going down the list, I saw Mets lost, Cubs lost, Padres lost, even the Reds lost. So gained some ground, and just a beautiful ball game tonight. Before I even could get here, Devers with the homer, and then Chappie actually had a nice hit for a change besides a homer. And then the homer in the 6th by Schmidt after that. It just did play with Lee and Bailey in the 8th. Just a nice complete game all around. Throw the ball, catch the ball, hit the ball. And I thought this was their most complete game in a while. So I'm very pleased. It's going to be tough, I know, down the stretch. But when everybody seemed like they were throwing in the towel just a few days ago, I think they're 4 back now. And the Marlins
grind, right? You just got to keep grinding, Jonathan. But nice recap from the game. That was excellent recap and some good defense. I've talked about Devers playing first, made a couple nice plays, and of course the young right fielder Drew Gilbert made a nice diving catch out in right field, and a couple balls hit to him where he had to really understand how to play right field. You just walk into a ballpark earlier today, and he's learning right field in one of the hardest places to play at Oracle Park. I keep complimenting the ball off the wall where he took a one hop and gave up that was the Josh Bell double, and I thought he played it very well. So we'll continue to keep watching his team as new faces appear and they're grinding, and they're 2 games over 500. And like the earlier calls, I think these 2 next games, the Giants have to win them both.
Yeah, got a sweep. I'll always take a sweep of the Nationals. They did well against the NL East this year, which I, of course, love. So see how they do the rest of the weekend, and then Padres huge series, and I'll be back for Tampa. I'm really looking forward to see how they do against the Rays. So very important.
Jonathan. Well, thanks for calling in and bringing us that vibe from Oracle Park. I appreciate your time. Let's go to Pete on the Peninsula. Pete, you're on with Bill Lasky on Sports Phone KNBR. A good start as the Giants win their first game of a 9-game homestand. What'd you think?
Oh, it was awesome at the game. I'll tell you what, if that rookie would have got a hit, the place would have went bananas.
I think so too.
Unbelievable that play he made. He's a gamer definitely, but I'll tell you what, I think everybody put these guys in the grave too soon. Okay, They got the pitching, the bullpen's got to step up. If they get hot, they're going to cause a lot of people problems down the stretch. A lot.
Yeah,
This thing is
don't
not
you
over
agree,
yet.
Pete? A lot of callers today, Pete, they have to sweep the Nationals. The Nationals are a team that you have to just put pedal to the metal, see if you can, bang a few more out there and get ahead of this team and really put them down. And I don't think the offense right now on Washington, when you look at James Wood and C.J. Abrams, that's really your top two hitters, and they went 1 for 8 today. So they did put the fire out with the two top hitters, and they put a 0 on the board for 9 innings, and that was very impressive with 5 pitchers.
Yeah, but I look at it, Bill. They haven't had good luck with bad teams. So they got to play it inning by inning, game by game, pitch by pitch.
Mm-hmm.
They got strong pitching. I mean, Verlander, he was cranking 98, 97 last time
that?
out.
How about
he's
that?
He's
42 years
stride.
old. Pete, could you throw 98 when you were 42?
I couldn't even throw 9 when I was 42, man. I'm telling you, these guys, they got Buster Posey's mental outlook. He got guys. Look what he brought us. Devers, Chapman. Up the middle, you got Casey Schmidt and Adames all banging.
Yeah.
They're all power hitters now. They're hitting. Jung-Hoo Lee finally figured out he's not a home run hitter, like you said. These guys, and Ramos, if he gets hot, and he hit tape measures today that just got caught. So I'm telling you, these guys, mark my words, they're going to cause a lot of problems in this wild card because
Pete,
they're
the
hungry.
Other thing too is we haven't seen this offense hit together. 1 or 2 guys get hot. I want to see 3 or 4 guys get hot, and Endeavors is starting to feel a little. You can feel a little more pressure off of him, relaxed a little bit. He hit that first ball 427 feet. I think he's a little relaxed now.
Oh, yeah, he's hitting rockets, and I'll tell you what, too, they feed on each other. I think the trades that were made at the end of the trade deadline were a bucket of cold water, ice water on these guys. It kind of woke them up. Man, we're losing our buddies. I mean, Webb was really shook up. Not really shook up, but he was upset that Tyler left. And it's like, okay,
they were.
I think that woke everybody up. And that keyed them, that focused them. And now you're seeing the end result. So buckle up, Bill. It's going to be an awesome
the
end
road
of the
trip, Pete. The road trip winning 2 out of 3 in New York was key. Coming back after you lose the first game in Pittsburgh and winning the last 2, and then the last game coming in toward the end of the game, scoring in the 9th inning, getting a couple runs. That's what gets your team going. That's the momentum you want. The day off yesterday, I was wondering how they were going to come out, if they were going to grind today or were they being sluggish. Love the first inning energy. Matt Gage goes 1, 2, 3. They come up, put 2 runs on the board. That's the energy we got to continue to see from this Giants team.
Definitely, and also the defense, stellar. It was unbelievable the plays they were making, including the rookie out there and right. It was, I mean, that double play was awesome to see them turn that. So, like I said, it's amazing.
Get out of that inning, to get out of that inning, that was key. That was such a clutch inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, only up 2-0 at that time. And they get out of it, and I thought, as you said, the defense played well right in that point.
Yep, pitching and defense keeps them in the games. They hit, look out. So, anyway, Bill, take care. I'm looking forward to this weekend. And when the Padres come in, it's game time. It's like, okay, now we got to make up some wild card space. All right, man.
Pete, thanks for the call, buddy. Thanks for the call. Appreciate your time. And Pete's right. I think the next couple of games, you take game to game, inning by inning, pitch to pitch. Those are the ways you win games. And you overcome adversity, and that's what the Giants have to do on this homestand. Last homestand, we were very disappointed, losing 6. They lost 2 to the Dodgers. 8 games they lost at Oracle Park. That is never going to happen again, I'll guarantee that. And today they came in, relaxed, scored 2 in the first, another home run by Casey Schmidt in the 6th, and they added 1 more in the bottom of the 8th. And the bullpen shut them out. They shut them out on only giving up 4 hits. So a good all-around win. First game of a 9-game homestand. Tomorrow, Carson Wisenhunt takes the hill. 105 first pitch to 24-year-old lefty. It's calm. I thought he pitched very well in New York. A little bit more confident, a little bit more one-on-one what he wants to do with Patrick Bailey. More sliders, which I think he has to get over, and the changeup. If he gets the ball down, look out. It's a nasty pitch. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back with more right here on a Friday edition of Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
And a ball sliced down the right field line. Gilbert on the move, and he will dive and catch it. Drew Gilbert playing his first game in this ballpark in a very tough right field to play. And he went charging toward the line as the ball was knuckling, and he dove head first. His feet were giving way, reached out with a glove and made the catch as he slammed into the dirt.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR with a little Boston playing in the background, and Dave Tobiner's coming on next. What a good night tonight is on Orange Friday. San Francisco Giants win 5-0. 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Giants, no runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Nationals. 2 home runs by the Giants. Devers with his 21st, Schmidt with his 7th, and Kai-Wei Tang gets his first major league win, going 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So let's bring on my buddy on a full moon Friday. Let's bring in Dave Tobiner from the San Francisco Gate. Dave, how are you tonight?
Oh, doing good, Bill. Finally get to talk to you after a win.
Yeah, you know, same thing with my producer, Jacob and I were wondering how many losses we had when we worked together. So I think, Dave, we finally broke the streak.
Yeah, and what a win, too. One of the best total team wins they've had in a long time. So it was fun to watch. Really crisp game for them. They played really well.
Well, I was wondering if the Matt Gage thing was just going to go 1 inning or not, because he pitched the other day 1 inning, and today he only threw 17 pitches, 10 for strikes. He got a nice 1-2-3 inning. But I think they were looking at Kai-Wei Tang to get out of that first inning. He got in trouble in New York. Of course, the energy and everything, adrenaline was there. He hits a guy, walks a guy, gives up a home run to the polar bear. And I think they tried to take that first inning pressure away from him. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it seemed like it worked. I mean, he went out. He looked like a different pitcher tonight. He settled in a bit in New York. He didn't look completely out of place. But it seemed like you said, tonight the pressure was off of him. Maybe he just works better not having to pitch that first inning and using the opener coming in when it's his turn. But he looked really good. Definitely earned more innings going forward, I think, and at a time when the Giants definitely need it. It was really nice to see.
Well, that 5th inning when he got out of it with bases loaded, nobody out, I thought that was such a key role right there. And Devers really made a nice play on that ball back to him. He went home with it, and they couldn't flip a double play. But right after that, he gets the 6-4-3 double play on a changeup. He threw something off speed, and he got the rollover. And Casey Schmidt really had to bring that from second base because Jacob Young's pretty quick, and he just got him at first.
Yeah, that was a great play. And, like you said, it's nice to see 2 guys who are kind of establishing themselves at those positions make those plays. Devers at first and Schmidt at second. They're still in the wild card race, but it's also tryouts, so to speak, for next year. So Schmidt being able to handle the turn and Devers being able to pick that and come home with it, it's encouraging that they're really taken to those positions. Devers especially because, there was all the talk about him not being able to, not wanting to play first for Boston and all the hoopla about that. So it's nice to see him making plays and making tough plays too.
You know, Dave, I looked at the lineup today, and I kind of liked what they did when they split Devers and Smith as 2 and 4, and they kept the right-handers around them, and then they put Jung-Hoo Lee underneath, and then Schmidt. So I like that right-left to right-left combination, and I think Bob Melvin's trying to establish something in this lineup that fits daily, even if it's against a lefty or a righty. I thought today I really liked the balance of the lineup, and it really ended up coming up through it. I mean, they didn't get score after the first inning until Schmidt hit the home run, but there was a couple opportunities. Smith got a base hit, Chapman got a double, and then Bailey got the triple. There are some things in this lineup that are starting to open up on the offensive side.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a really balanced lineup when he puts it together this way, and it's nice to have, with as well as Dom Smith is hitting. What a pickup he's been. And just a nice presence in the middle of the lineup, a professional hitter, professional all the way around, just a really, really nice pickup. And being able to have him and Devers both, at the expense of Flores, of course, but right now it's working. And I thought this was the best, the offensive look top to bottom in a long time. They could have easily had more than 5 runs tonight. It felt like they were ready to explode. So it was nice to see, and I hope this lineup gets a little more run to see if they can keep it up.
That voice you hear on Sports Phone KNBR, my friend Dave Tobiner, he writes for the SF Gate, writes a lot of good sports page articles, and does a nice job, Dave. You've been really pumping them out, so I appreciate all the work you're doing over there. And, the other thing, we always talk about bad base running, the Elliot Ramos, missing a cutoff, the infield fly rule. But tonight, Jung-Hoo Lee stole that 5th run on just a heads-up play when he rounded third and saw nobody covering home. What'd you think of that play?
Oh, I mean, that's the kind of smart baseball that you love to see, because it's one of those things that, you don't really, it's not something that you teach, it's instinct. And, the instinctually on the base paths, they've just looked so bad over the last few weeks. And, there was a lot of talk about how how that came down on the coaching staff and Melvin and his staff, and just the intangibles, the things that they just couldn't do. And to see him steal that run, he's been playing well. He's really upped his game the last few weeks, but tonight that was great. It's not something that they've had. They're just playing really smart baseball lately, and for a while there were so many mistakes, so many mental mistakes. It just seemed like there was something new every day. So something like that is really encouraging. And I mean, what a heads-up play! Very, very heady, very smart play.
Another player that we've been down on pretty much all year has been Patrick Bailey hitting, and now he's hitting really well the last couple of weeks. Got his average up to almost 220 now. Had 2 nice hits today. Of course, the little infield ground ball out in front of the catcher that ended up getting an RBI, but the triple, he hit that ball pretty well. Had a nice road trip. Things that you see out of him now, have you seen anything different from the swing path?
It looks like he's like you say, he's making better contact. Maybe he's, it's catching is tough. And when he first came up, he was a pretty good hitter, and he just kind of wore down at the end of the year. And it's almost like the reverse has happened this year. He was so poor at the plate in the beginning of the year, and it didn't affect him defensively. Defensively he's still one of, if not the best in the game, but he just looks like he's finally getting a little confidence too. And he's never going to be a 280, 290 hitter, but if he can hit 230, 240, they can hide him at the bottom of the lineup, and he can give him that kind of defense that he does. That's totally acceptable. And it's nice to see him kind of coming into his own a little bit. And maybe maybe he feels a little pressure because of the catcher they acquired in the Duvall deal, kind of breathing down his neck down there. And maybe it's good. Maybe it's bringing out the best in him.
Yeah, a little competition always helps, no question. That's Jesus Rodriguez, and he can hit. He hasn't been catching much in Sacramento, but he's been DHing. And tonight I was just watching a film. He had another double tonight. The guy can hit. He puts the ball in play, and when you look at his numbers from AAA, he's hitting over 300 every year he plays. So that is a good spark. Looking at some of these players that Buster Posey did pick up from the Yankees and the Mets, of course, today Drew Gilbert gets his first opportunity at the big league level. Played great career in Tennessee, had some great numbers, gets drafted by Houston, gets traded to the Mets. Now he's back with the Giants. And I talked to you earlier tonight as I've been throwing it out there. I got to talk to him on Thursday on just an interview. I wanted to get to know him for my extra inning postgame show and had a nice, delightful 15, 18-minute conversation with him. And when I got off the phone, the first thing I said is, he's a gamer, man. He just wants to play. And today you got to see it a little bit.
He plays right field like he's been playing there his whole life. I mean,
Didn't it look like it?
Oh my God, he played the wall perfectly. That diving catch he made. He looked like Yaz out there.
Yeah, he did.
The hits will. Yeah, he really did. And it's a tough right field. And everybody says is it overblown how tough it is to play out there? But with right center as deep as it is, and having to play, having to learn the caroms and how each portion of the wall plays, it's tough. So it was really impressive to see him come out and just completely take to it like that. The hits will come, and he had an offer at the plate tonight, but that's nothing to worry about. Just the fact that he played right field so well was really impressive, especially for his first big league action, and probably the toughest right field in baseball, arguably. It was really impressive.
Well, his first at bat with Sacramento, he hits a triple. His first home game at Sutter Health, he hits a game-winning triple or a double, and everything is just mashing for him. He makes good contact. He goes the opposite way. One of the questions I asked him, I said, how do you work on things like that? He goes, my dad always taught me left field, right field line, fill the gaps. And it was just simple things like that he said, I said, how do you work on things? He goes, I speed up the machine. I still go off tees. I still go off, soft toss. All the things that I remember watching back in my day playing with all the big leaguers and the Hall of Famers doing that, and that's what they did. And if you get this out of a kid, it's 23, 24 years old, I mean, these are things that are shining for the kid. These are something that you can grasp on and say, he is going to be here for a while. He is that outfielder the Giants have been looking for.
Well, it's exciting because, they are kind of threading the needle between contending and building for next year. And,
right.
Right field's been a tough one for them to fill for a long time. And, Matos had a bit of a shot, couldn't really get anything going. Gerard Encarnacion just can't stay healthy. And, there's questions about whether he can hang defensively at Oracle. But, Gilbert's going to get every chance to prove that he can at least be part of a platoon out there. And like you said, the work ethic seems to be there. He's got the instincts. He looks like a ball player. And I think the Giants, he might not be a superstar, but he's going to be a contributor, and you need those kind of guys. He looks like he's got the ability to stick, which is what you want when you make a trade like that. I mean, he just looks like he's going to be a contributor for a long time.
Dave Tobiner joining me for a few more minutes. Of course, he's a writer for the SF Gate sports page, does a great job over there. And I've known Dave for many years, back in the day when Vida and I did NBC Bay Area. Of course, back then it was called Comcast. And a lot of fun times back then, Dave, and you were part of it, and you saw a lot of the funny things we did in the green room and all the different people we got to talk to. But, when we come back to life, you talk about Gerard Encarnacion, a guy that's just had a hard year. The last couple games in spring training, breaks his finger, goes into surgery, he's out for a while, comes back, hamstring injury. This one, it was just so bad because he hits two bombs in Pittsburgh. The second one straightaway center field. The other one, it was probably looked like it was upper deck, but it wasn't. Then he's sprinting down first base, and he reaches for the bag, and you could just see him grab that hamstring. And I felt it, probably you did, all Giants fans did, and you just saw the grimace on his face. And I think everybody thought the same thing. He's down. And today it's a grade 2 injury, 4 to 6 weeks to heal. His season's over.
Yeah, the poor guy just a snake bit this year. And, he was finally getting a shot. And, it surprised me a little bit because, he's on the older side for a prospect, 27, 28, and they just really like his bat. And when he gets a chance to play, you can see why. Because when he makes contact, it goes a long way. And it's one of those things where you just have can he make enough contact over the course of a whole season to stick? Mm-hmm. But it would be nice to know because him and you're talking about platooning and right, him and Gilbert might be a nice platoon going forward. But it is too bad because it was finally going to be his chance. It looked like they sent Matos down and they were committing to him to give him the at bats to see if he could stick, and he was proving them right. So it's just so hard to see because he seems like a really great guy. He seems like the clubhouse loves him. And just like injuries like that, the broken bone and then like a soft tissue injury like that, it's so hard to come back from.
Have you ever met him, Dave? Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen him in person?
I haven't. No, but he seems
mammoth.
Like just from
he's huge.
From seeing him, he seems like such a
huge
great guy.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. And when I got to meet him, I was standing next to one of the trainers talking to him, and he goes, "You want to meet Gerard?" And I go, "Yeah." And he comes up the steps, and I'm like, "My God, you're huge! He's a big dude." And he goes,
like it too.
"He is," and he really is a big dude. And I was like, "Wow, no wonder when he swings, the ball takes off so good." But he's real nice.
Got a different sound.
One of those easy-going big dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it seems like everybody loves him too in the clubhouse and everything. And like you said, when he swings, when he makes contact, it just sounds different. When he can just kill the ball, and it's really a shame because he was proving that he deserved the shot. And the Giants have been looking for power, for so long, and a right-handed power bat is always welcome at Oracle. It's a little bit easier for a right-hander than it is a left-hander, but it's the Giants seem to be committed to seeing what he can do. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's back with them again next spring. But man, it's too bad because this seemed like a golden opportunity for him.
Well, tomorrow we see the third start of Carson Whisenhunt. Game in New York, totally different than his first game against Pittsburgh here. The first game jitters. He looked a little more confident, threw the slider a little bit more. He said he felt better with the changeup. His changeup is fantastic when he gets it down. What do you see out of him tomorrow against this national lineup?
Well, like you said, his second start just was completely different. He looked like a different pitcher. You can see why he's the top 100 prospect, in the game, and he's got the stuff. He looked great, and the Nationals lineup is ripe to be picked apart. So I'm going to be really interested to see how he responds, to a home. He's going to have a home start. It's going to be a good crowd tomorrow. Can he handle the adrenaline of pitching in front of a home crowd, and can he build on what he did? But he looked great his last start, and he's given, he came up at the right time because I'm sure the Giants don't want to extend him too much, but they need innings now. And, it's kind of one of those things where they need bodies, and he happens to be next man up. But he's proven that he belongs up here, and, it's great to have that for this year, to keep him in the wild card race, but also for next year because you can kind of, write out your rotation a little bit better if you can pencil him in, and, maybe Birdsong comes back up and Rupp comes back, and all of a sudden, you've got a full rotation heading into spring with no questions. So it'll be nice to, it's going to be big to both keep the Giants in the hunt, for one thing, but also to build for next year too. And, he's giving them everything they need to see.
Well, Dave, as we finish up here, I think what Melvin and J.P. Martinez and Garvin Alston, I think they're trying to find slots in the bullpen. And I think Jose Budo is going to be your new eighth inning guy. He pitched very well in New York, pitched in Pittsburgh, and then today had a nice 1-2-3 inning. Well, he had a walk. But I think he's got good stuff. I think they really picked up a pretty good pitcher. What have you seen out of him, and do you think he'll fill in that 7-8 inning? Because I think Luke Casey's going to be in there too.
Yeah, what a great trade. Not only did they get a couple of prospects, but they got a guy that can slide right into Rogers' role. He might not be as good as Rogers, but he can definitely fill the part. He's looked really good. I know he had a better year last year, and I was listening a bit to what the difference was between this year and last year, and he just wasn't throwing enough strikes in New York, it seemed like. So it seems like the Giants have kind of, turned that around with him. He's just been, like you said, he had the walk tonight, but he's throwing strikes, he's challenging hitters, and he looks very confident, and, he looks like he could be a seventh, eighth inning guy this year and next. So it's been, he's looked really good. It's been a nice surprise. You didn't expect him to just kind of walk right into that setup role, but he's filled it with absolutely no problem. And it's going to be big if they do continue to make a push for a wild card. They really weakened their bullpen at the trade deadline, so him picking up those innings, it's a big thing.
I really think so. I really do, Dave. I think that's a good slot for him in that 7th, 8th inning, and Luke Casey's been doing so well, and we'll find out if Randy Rodriguez can hold that closer's role. I think what we saw when he didn't do the good job in the first Pittsburgh game, too many sliders. He walked McCutchen. Seemed like he threw him 5 straight sliders, and then the last game when he threw mostly fastballs. I think that's what I would love to see out of him more than the slider, using the slider as a secondary pitch. But he's got good gas, and I think you and I both agree, Dave, throw your fastball more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way about Duvall. It's when you have a fastball like that, use it. And when Duvall would get into trouble, it was because he went away from his fastball. And Rodriguez, hopefully he can learn that to trust his stuff a little bit better. Because it's a different mindset to be a closer. It's not the same as coming in the 8th inning. And I don't know how many closers have to say that before people believe it. You have to really have a different mindset to fill the role. So, the confidence that he gets, the more chances he gets, he had a couple of hiccups there, but he's also looked really good in his other 2 chances. So, as long as he trusts his stuff, he's got the stuff to do it. I mean, he's got as good a stuff as anybody else in the league. So, like you said, just keep pumping the fastball and you can't hit it.
Yeah.
Just like, like Ricky Vaughn in Major League, just give him, just put the one down and throw the heat.
Put number 99 on his back too, right, Dave?
That's right. Forget about the curveball.
Well, Dave, thanks for joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure catching up with you, my friend, and definitely fans out there, read his column on SF Gate. Does a great job. Have a good night, Dave.
Thanks, Bill. You too.
All right, that was Dave Tobiner on SF Gate as we close out the Friday edition of Sports Phone KNBR. I want to thank my producer, Jacob Violante, as well as Ryan for picking up the calls. Thank you, Giants fans, for filling up the airways with some phone calls as the Giants win the first game of a 9-game homestand, 5-0, 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Giants. 2 home runs, one by Devers, his 21st, and one by Schmidt, his number 7. And they shut out the Nationals with only 4 hits given up. 5 pitchers threw for the San Francisco Giants. Matt Gage threw 1 inning. Kaiwei Tang threw 5 innings. He got his first Major League win. Joey Lucchesi, Jose Budo, and Tristan Beck all threw 1 inning, and they were scoreless. Tomorrow, 105, Carson Wisenhunt gets his 3rd start. He's 1-0 with a 4.3. Going against a right-hander, Brad Lord, 2-6 with a 3.4. Of course, you can hear that right here on KNBR. Extra inning post-game show tomorrow, and Sunday I'll be filling up the airways for the post-game show tomorrow, as I've been throwing it out there all night. Drew Gilbert and I sat down, had a great conversation. You get to know him a little bit more. And then Hensley Mullins is in town. He's going to be doing a clinic for kids in September. And also we talk a lot of hitting with him. And then on Sunday, I sat down with Dave Brundage, the manager of the Sacramento Rivercats, kind of get a gauge on what's going on up there. Of course, you're going to hear about him talking about Bryce Eldridge and Tyler Fitzgerald, a few other players, I should say. I'm going ahead of myself. But Dave Brundage will be with me on Sunday. And I sat down with Andrew Kinsner. Of course, the backup catcher for the San Francisco Giants. Both those interviews will be on Sunday. All right, for Bill Lasky, we're calling a night. Have a great night, and more coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.